little part of LCAP. What?
I'm just catching up. Positive climate at schools, and what was the first one you mentioned?
More focus on the LCAP process.
Yep.
Including more focus on positive school climate and positive discipline.
Thank you.
That was related to the discipline policy, I suppose. Then also for the LCAP, nurturing and otherwise, LCAP and otherwise, nurturing a collaborative and teamwork approach between all stakeholders, both for academic success and for healthy school environment and healthy workplace for our staff. I also think we should continue to focus on technology. That needs attention. It wasn't even primary part of that. It's a priority, it's just sort of different. I had about 8 topics and I tried to reduce them.
Because I got like 10.
So I heard you say, Sarah, I heard you say, I'm going to ask you to clarify your first one, because what I got was fiscal responsibility for budget and capital projects, and I don't know what that means. Fiscal responsibility. I don't know what that means.
It means focusing on our budget process. Fiscal responsibility to me means paying attention, being involved, focusing on it, hearing more about it, having a budget study session, whatever, and the same with the capital issues. Maybe we need a facility study session, or we need some time to focus, we have it so spread out.
I heard you say you'd like to see more focus on the LCAP process as it relates specifically to positive climate at schools and positive discipline at the schools. Heard you talk about nurturing a more collaborative and team-based approach to creating healthy environments for our employees and our staff and our children. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you forgot the teamwork between all stakeholders.
I call it team-based.
Okay, between all stakeholders, that
Thank
was
you.
important. Between parents, teachers, staff, school community, students, everybody.
Great. And then lastly, a continued focus on technology.
Right.
So I wrote these when I was starting to run for re-election. This was a while ago, so some of them I might have to do.
When specifically was that? July, August,
I
September?
think I wrote this in the last spring,
Yeah, okay.
but no later than September, but I think it was back in like May. So it's from a while ago. I was trying to think of where I wanted to go in my next term if I were fortunate enough to get that. So started focusing me on that kind of long-term stuff. So I wrote, ensure math at OAS is meeting expectations. Keep that on there. Progress on that. Then I wrote, tell me if I'm going too fast, restoration/enhancements, computer teachers / technicians, math specialists, so that's high priority.
Hold on, sorry.
Okay.
Did you say technology coach, would you say?
I said computer teachers / technicians. Just thinking back to your
Sites have that.
right, like at sites might be the best.
Okay.
This was my wish list. Consider and develop plan for extended day kindergarten. Consider block scheduling at OAS. I'm all of it, Mario.
Hold on. I'm going to write them all down even if we're already done.
Even if we're in the process.
Okay.
Develop / update board strategic plan, which probably touches on a lot of, in my mind encompasses a lot of the facilities, long-range planning across the board, so not only facilities or technology or with all that stuff.
So I heard you say facilities, what else did you say?
I said technology, you know, curriculum, I mean, it would hopefully encompass all of these sort of, thank you, topics,
Okay.
exactly. I wrote increase access to board information and sharing of information between and among stakeholder groups. Sort of ties into the communication piece that we've been hearing. Increase access to board information. I was trying to keep this board oriented, I guess, a bit. And sharing of information between and among stakeholder groups. Just making sure that we keep all those lines of communication as robust as we can. Ongoing forward. Good?
Yep.
Okay, change to collaborative fundraising model. We're seeing some themes, we won't discuss them, but we're seeing themes. And I did note that, I think it was Walnut Creek a few months ago, sort of recommended as a board that their parent clubs switch to the model that Lafayette and Braga have. So I don't know if anything happened on that front, but I thought that was interesting.
I think that,
Did I? Create governance handbook. Consider facilities bond. Told you I have a long list. And my last, have a board policy for meat-free Mondays. That's my vegetarian
Wow,
one.
there you go.
Meat-free
Whoa.
Mondays, I think we should have it. It would be good for the environment.
wait, you went too fast.
Good for
Governance
kids.
handbook, then what was the second one after that?
Facilities bond.
Facilities.
Consider a facilities bond.
So can I read back to you?
And then meat-free.
Are you ready? I want to.
And
It's
she
an
just
eclectic.
jumped the shark.
No.
It was eclectic.
Carol's smiling. That makes me happy. It makes me
Didn't
happy.
you say we were supposed to celebrate?
I am a vegetarian.
We are joyful. We're all smiling. Look at Joe.
Even just.
A wry smile. A wry smile.
It's on my wish list.
That's awesome.
So Julie, what I heard you talk about was make sure that OAS math is meeting expectations. Heard you talk about potential restorations and enhancements. Examples might be a math specialist, technicians on site, or computer teachers. Heard you talk about consider and develop extended day kindergarten. Heard you talking about us looking at block scheduling at OAS. Talked about developing and updating our board's strategic plan. Examples would be addressing facilities, and not limited to, facilities, technology, and curriculum, also known as the big items. Talked about increasing access to board information by enhancing communication with stakeholder groups. Make sure we're getting the word out, that lines of communication are increased. Talked about potentially changing to a collaborative fundraising model. Talked about developing a governance handbook. Talked about considering a facilities bond. And you talked about considering meat-free Mondays for the district. Which are all legitimate. I appreciate
Harold
this.
smile.
I can smile very easily. Just so you know.
So one of the challenges of being board president is you have to go last. Almost by this great, brilliant group we have assembled here, almost all the great ideas have been said. But I have put a lot of thought into this because I put it all out to you guys to put a lot of thought into. And I come at my perspective on a school board, I think a little bit differently. And what, is that Kathy telling me my 3 minutes?
Yeah. Found it.
But I look at my role on the board as one, first of all, you have all come up with great ideas, and I knew you would. And so I have the luxury of not having to bring up anything that you guys already brought up. And some of the things that some of you said really resonate with me, and I look forward to being part of that. But I look at my role on the board as one of supporting staff. And I believe that the education professionals, and I know that we're the board and we set the vision, but I believe that the education professionals work up there and don't look down here. And so, you know, I look to staff through the superintendent, you know, I look to Ed, and I look to Kathy, and I look to Teresa, and I look to the rest of our directors, Jen and Raymond, to bring to Joe, and then Joe brings to us the things that we need to get done as a district to make sure that we're doing the best job we can for all kids in the district. So that's, I've been consistent on that in my 6.5 years on the board. That's how I see my role. And I believe that organically that stuff comes to us as it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, with the imperative or the energy behind it where it's supposed to from the superintendent. And I agree that while a lot of that stuff comes up through staff, through the superintendent, a lot of stuff also comes up through the community, through the board. So I think in the mix of all that, we do great things. And I really believe in that process. I believe in staff, educational experts side of the process. I believe in the public coming to us with public comment. I believe in OEA coming to us with comment on items, giving us their perspective. I believe in boards filtering information that they've received and bringing it to the superintendent and the board president to be addressed. And I think through that process, I think that's where we do the best job for our kids. I think it's in the mix, you know. I think it's, we all put different things in the salad, and we toss it around with a little dressing, and we get this great salad out of it. So I don't have any items to read back to you other than, you know, my priority, and as well, you know, it's not just supporting administration, but also supporting the board, you know. So I believe as an individual board member, not even as the board president, but just that, you know, what I want to do is continue to be committed to working together and for the good of all kids in the district, and not only working together with you guys, but working together with the superintendent and his staff. You know, what I try and do as board president is communicate with you guys as much as possible. What I try and do is set a positive example. When staff presents, I try and say thank you, and sometimes I forget because I'm so focused on the next item or a hostile person in the audience or whatever else. Board president's a tough job. I hope you all get to do it. But I try and say thank you to staff. I try and, you know, we got to meet Teresa. We've gotten to meet Ron and thank him for his interim work. You know, I think if we model that positive behavior, if I model that positive behavior, I think it sets a great tone for the culture of our board and the culture of our district. So, you know, my priorities moving forward are to continue in that direction and try and improve on it. I get to close and just by saying thank you to everybody for participating in this process. This is some of the most important work we do. Without this work, I don't think we can go out and do that other work. So I'm committed to working together as a team, and I think that just by everybody being here for all 3 of these meetings, I think we're all committed to working together as a team. And I really appreciate everybody's time and energy, not here, but also in your work out there at Parents Club meetings and having coffees with concerned members of the community and spending time with the superintendent. I know a couple board members got to meet with Raymond yesterday. That's all great work, and it ends up making us better board members, and it makes the kids benefit from it, which is the ultimate reason I'm here. So that's my little priority spiel. Joe, do you have anything you want to share?
Well, I want to thank all of you for the hard work you put in all the time and devoting the time to think about all of these priorities, which is quite a list of areas to work on.
There's a lot of commonality.
Yeah, there's a lot of commonality, and I think there are areas that we can definitely address. I want to thank Harold for putting in the time and effort to try to work through the issues behind the topics that were raised here and educate all of us. And no matter how many times we do this, I learn something each time. And if I'm learning it, I'm sure all of you are picking up nuances here too. But with the goal in mind that we all have now the ingredients to be able to work together as effectively as possible as a team. So,
Joe, thank you to all. Thank you from the board. We really appreciate your time and your energy. You did a great job. I've just been through a number of these, and you did a really, really good job, and you guided us through a really valuable process.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Harold.
Thank you.
I will accept a motion to adjourn.
We adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Opposed?